Hi everyone, my name's Megan Goodwin and I'm the training manager here at ClickDealer. So in this presentation, I'm just going to be talking you through 3 steps that you need to ensure that you complete in order to submit your VAT online. And I'm also going to be covering a bit about what MTD is and how it affects your dealership. So what is MTD for VAT? Making Tax Digital is a UK government initiative that sets out a vision for the end of tax return and a transformed tax system by 2020. HM Revenue and Customs states that the main goal of MTD is to make a tax administration more effective, more efficient, and simpler for taxpayers. VAT registered businesses with a taxable turnover above the VAT threshold are required to use Making Tax Digital. That's meaning that they need to keep all their records digital from the 1st of April 2019. So is it your dealership that's going to be affected by Making Tax Digital for VAT? So if your dealership has an annual turnover of under £85,000, then you don't have to be VAT registered and you don't have to submit your VAT digitally. However, if you have an annual turnover between £83,000 and £84,999, then HMRC would recommend becoming VAT registered. However, this isn't compulsory. So when does your dealership need to act? If you just want to have a look on here to see what VAT period you actually fall into, and you can see on this table by following it across with the arrows, when it is that you need to start recording your VAT information digitally, and then when it is that you actually need to submit your VAT digitally. So if it is that you fall into April 19 to June 19, for example, it's nothing to panic about. It's just ensuring that you watch this video and you follow the necessary steps to ensure that you're okay to submit your VAT when you need to. So ClickDealer has been ready for MTD for quite a while now. So we are an approved software provider and we've got a link just on there to the Gov website if it is that you want to have a quick look on there. But it just basically means that we're okay to send across your VAT return to HMRC with you, and we've got that link direct. How MTD works. So as long as you're entering in all your information, such as your purchase information, your sales information, all of your expenses as well, so anything that goes through your business as an expense, you can then submit your VAT digitally via the DMS. So as I've mentioned previously, there are 3 steps to this. So step 1, how to submit. So before you begin, you do need to note down that it is going to be one person, so only one user, that is actually going to be able to submit your VAT from the DMS within ClickDealer and to send that across to HMRC. So it might be that it's, for example, someone in accounts, it might be that it's yourself that's going to be doing that, but it is worth noting that it will only be the one user. So it is very important that you need to register online with HMRC for MTD. And you need to do that no later than 2 weeks before your first submission deadline. So once it is that you've gone and set that up, they will send you an email to say that everything's been okay, it's confirmed, and you're now ready to submit your VAT return online. That's when you can then take on step 2. So step 2, there's a new screen within ClickDealer. If you go to Accounts along the very top of your screen, and HMRC Dashboard, there's then going to be a big blue button, as you can see on here along the top, that says Begin Authorisation Process. So on here, it'll just ask you a few security questions such as your DMS password and your DMS login. And then what will happen is you'll be redirected to HMRC, and it will then ask you for your government gateway credentials. You'll then find a screen that says you need to grant authority. So all you need to do is grant authorities for ClickDealer to be able to submit your VAT return for you for MTD. As it says down the bottom, you can remove this authority at any point if you need to, but otherwise it'll be set up for 18 months for you. So then once you've submitted that, it'll then put you back onto your HMRC dashboard, which will show all of your previous VAT returns on there. It will show you all your VAT liabilities, all your previous payments and more. So now the last step is just submitting your VAT whenever you're ready. So if you're currently using us for VAT already and you're submitting your VAT return through ClickDealer, it'll be the same process. So you go to Accounts along the top of your screen, down to VAT return, and then the only difference is the big blue button again that you can see along the top here that says Complete your VAT return online. That pop-up box down the bottom that you can see below that will just explain everything that you're going to be submitting, all of your final figures, and then all you need to do is read along the bottom, check that you're happy with what we're going to be sending across, tick the box and click Continue. And then again, it's just a case of a few security questions. So it'll just ask you for your DMS login and your DMS password once again, just to make sure that you can submit that. And then it will say that you've submitted your VAT return online. So it'll give you a reference number, your submission date, time. So if you do have any queries with anything at all, we just need that reference number so we can have a quick look for you if you're unsure if anything's not gone across correctly or anything along those lines. Then the two bottom boxes, you can either click Done just to close that screen, or you can click on HMRC Dashboard, which will take you back to the previous page and it'll now show you your most up-to-date VAT return that you've just completed. So myth busting. So a lot of people seem to think that everyone had to join the service by the 1st of April. That's not really correct, because businesses are required to join MTD, but it's when they're submitting their VAT return for their first VAT period on or after the 1st of April. So as I mentioned previously, if you want to go back in this presentation, you can see the table which will break it down for you and tell you when it is that you actually need to be submitting your VAT digitally. Under MTD, businesses will have to provide more information than they already do. So that's not correct at all. No business needs to give any more information. It's exactly the same information that's going across to HMRC that always has. The only difference is how it's actually submitted, which is obviously being done online digitally now. Small businesses should automatically be exempt. So again, that's not really correct because the smallest businesses are already exempt from MTD. As again mentioned previously, if you want to go back on that presentation, you can have a look at the exact thresholds, but you don't need to if you're under that threshold. It is only recommended. So if you're already using us for your VAT return, you're probably already familiar with these screens, but just in case you're new and you're just using us for MTD currently, if you want to go to Accounts within your DMS, and then there's a report that's called VAT MBVQ. So in this report, you're able to see a summary of all of your vehicle VAT for the particular quarter. And it is broke down into different VAT calculations. So that means that you've got your margin-based vehicles, then you've got it broken down to your VAT qualifying vehicles, and then you've also got your commercial vehicles too. And the other report is if you go to Reports along the top, Accounts, and then General Expenses Monthly. In this report, it'll highlight all of your expenses from the date range, so whichever quarter it is that you want to view, and it'll show you the VAT element of all of your expenses that you've added through ClickDealer in that quarter. There are many other reports that obviously give you a lot more insight in regards to your VAT return. However, those two are probably the most popular ones that are currently in Click. And then it really is that simple. So we have got the contact details just on the screen. If there's anything at all that you have any queries on, you need any assistance with, it's just a case of getting in touch. However, as I've mentioned, it is really only the 3 steps. So your first step will be registering, your second step is authorising ClickDealer, and your third step is submitting your VAT whenever it is that you're ready. But if you do need to get in touch with any queries, It's just a case of calling us on 01782 478 220, or you can use the help email, which is help@clickdealer.co.uk. And any queries that you send along, we'll be in touch as soon as we can and we'll get them resolved for you ASAP.